Hello, everyone, and welcome to my playthrough of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So, before we begin, full disclosure I love Ace Attorney. I wrote Ace Attorney fan fiction when I was in junior high and high school. I wanted to be a lawyer. I played those first 3 games to death. I did play Apollo Justice. I didn't. Did I beat it? I think I did. But the first 3 are the main things for me. I didn't love the Miles Edgeworth games, I'm going to be honest. And I did play the 3DS ones. Of them all, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright is honestly one of my favorite crossover titles of all time. So, sorry if you are on the side of thinking that game's bad. As someone who enjoys both Layton and Phoenix Wright, I enjoyed it. Now, the only one that I really haven't ever played was The Great Ace Attorney, because of course it never was out in English. And because a lot of them were on systems that I couldn't necessarily do Let's Plays of course I played them on my own there. Now, from what I can tell though, while there will be like slight callbacks and stuff, you can hop in with this. So if you don't know anything about The Great Ace Attorney, well, come on in. Let's play this together. I've had it highly recommended by friends, and boy geez, have I been excited to play this for a long time. I said it'd be a Switch visual novel, and I didn't lie. I didn't say exclusive. That's the words, right? Expect me to do a lot of voice acting. If you're one of those types that's like, ugh, I don't like it when the Let's Player reads all the dialogue. Well, 1, you're watching the wrong channel, and 2, it's 2023, get over yourself. So, let's get going. God, these classic sound effects are already sending me back. They're sending me back, man. Ace Attorney and me have such a history. We're here, baby. Select adventure, special contents, and options. Well, we gotta start off with the options. Gameplay. Keep that, tech transparency. Ooh, I like my transparent text boxes. That reminds me of playing on the actual, the other ones there. Wait time. Okay, I'm not gonna be using too much autoplay, so that's fine. Language. Voices in English. Oh, frick, is this game dubbed? Interesting. Allowing you to progress through the game automatically without having to press buttons. This answers the question. Oh. Strange. I mean, I get it, but no thanks. The whole point is me trying to figure it out. So I will be playing both games, quote unquote. Yeah, because why would I be jumping otherwise to, yeah. Because as far as I'm aware, when this game came out, it was the original Great Ace Attorney Adventures. People were very mad because they're like, this isn't a full game, it's literally half a game. So in many people's eyes, it is one game. So let's go.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of
I saw flat caps, we're already in.
This far eastern island nation.
Dang, already feeling Sakura Wars vibes a bit. From the time period, at least.
Washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Well, not the fastest start to murder in an Ace Attorney game, that's for sure.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Oh, frick. Well, I can't really call him Nick, can I? Bienvenue à la Carnival! Welcome to the Carnival. The adventure of the Great Departure. Oh, are we doing the adventure, not turnabout? Ooh. It's a bit punchier than normal. Ooh, yeah. Like, that's one thing that because I played the first Ace Attorney games on the DS there so much, the sound effects were ingrained in my soul. So when I get to this and it's like the sound effect is slightly different, it's like I can feel that. That's punchier, that's stronger. 22nd of November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 5. At least it's not 4, am I right? I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? So, obviously, actually in Japan, for those of you who don't know, the original Ace Attorney games in Japan are set in Japan. For the US version, they set them in California. This resulted in a problem as they continued to localize them and realized that the games being set in Japan are very important because they're very Japanese. And instead of just just being like, oh, yeah, that was a mistake, or just, ignoring it. No. Japanifornia stuck. And they even came up with an alternate history about why Japan and California are so connected. It's wonderful. The localization blogs for Ace Attorney 5 and 6 are amazing. But no, this one's actually in Japan, so. The bailiff? Normally don't get to talk to the bailiff. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. We're off to a great start. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. So, Phoenix Wright, his Japanese name is Ryuichi Naruhodo. Right? It's Ryuichi, right? I know it's Ryu. Because Ryunosuke, the Nosuke means it's old, right? It's Ryuichi Naruhodo, right? Ryuichi Naruhodo. Am I right? No, Ryunosuke. Yeah, Ryuichi Naruhodo is the Japanese name. So Naruhodo is the words for like, that's it. So then Phoenix Wright, like that's right. So Ryunosuke, the Nosuke is like an old-timey sort of way of putting it. So this is Phoenix Wright's ancestor. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow find myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. Who? Oh, you have a headband. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Oh, you don't have big boobs. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. Yeah, it is very close to like a Persona 4 school uniform. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. Oh, the flashes, the dings. It's all there, baby. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Are you gonna die right away? I feel like you literally have a death flag, like, tapering off your forehead right now, buddy. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean, I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Of course, once I hear this guy's voice, my entire voice might change. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer, Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. Oh, you were speaking out loud. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Well, here in Japan anyway. But qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes. That's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're gonna get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally. Those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud, as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. Oh, that's why he keeps it covered, to make it so his aura doesn't leak out and scare the ladies. Oh, what am I talking about? It's Ace Attorney. There's no... I'm not gonna say that. I'm not saying there's no ladies, but I'm saying there might not be any, romance of that variety. Like, let's be real. Although I will say, full disclosure, again, I'm just letting it all out there right now. I know I have a friend who hates this. I'm talking about you, Beat. I absolutely shipped, and probably still do, Nick and Maya. I never saw it as a sibling thing. I saw it as cute little boyfriend and girlfriend. But that was me being a, teenage boy in high school. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my very own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's city of London together. We can get fish and chips. We could both be full of beans. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. God, he knows I suck at English. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Oh, we won't learn. We won't see it. Sogi may have a word. Who's this? Oh? Oh, I know you're the not Maya Fey. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Okay. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But you're kinda Hagar-coded, my friend. But never mind that for now. Asogi? You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at the university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. All right then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. If I may? Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe? Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. Hey, I called it, because again, it's the joke. Ah, yes, I see. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Oh, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Oh, one thing. The names are massive puns in Japanese. Much like how all the Ace Attorney names are puns, all of them are puns in Japanese. I'll try and pick out the ones I know. I'll probably get like 5% of them, which is, I'd say, more than the average person who doesn't speak Japanese, but it's not much. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Sogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. Huh. You think so? We're best friends?
As such, I feel you should know.
Know what?
Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial,
Uh-oh.
I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again.
What? Well, that sucks.
As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you.
He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? Besides being the government, they kind of live to just not be nice.
The administration has chose to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances.
I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it, I'm not a murderer.
I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial.
Oh? Oh, the music. Ooh. Oh, this is like the right? But it's instead of being electronic, it's you got the strings. Ooh. So I've listened to like the orchestrated soundtracks to Ace Attorney so much because they're some of the best soundtracks ever. But I've never heard music from this, so it's gonna be great. Sorry, what do you mean?
Well, you'll soon understand once proceedings get underway.
But then what should I do?
Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction.
Right, so...
As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do.
Oh, is it gonna say, do you plead guilty? I do. But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you?
Of course not.
Oh, good.
Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once.
Well, it would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short.
Can you tell me before we go?
So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway.
Why are you guys so mean? This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. So the question is, my one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. Is it going to switch perspectives, and are we going to play as Asogi?
The tutorial, because it'd be very strange to be the defendant. 22nd of November,
9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Oh, your eyes are very wide, buddy. So this is a courtroom. Dang, it's really weird seeing it in such 3D. Right? And, well, I guess this was a 3DS game, so it's not like it's completely, like, not console. But I played the other Ace Attorney games. I don't remember it being like this. I remember it being much more traditional, so, Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in this land has no more power. I don't like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time, but for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Oh my god, it's Winston Payne. Oh, that's a scary judge.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
The prosecution is ouchie. Winston Payne, Gaspin Payne, and ouchie Payne. Shut up.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency.
As is the defense.
Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate.
That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself.
Normal procedures for the defense's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obligated to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial?
This is where we have to say I do. This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Answer I do. I'm gonna listen to him. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. Oh no. Oh geez, wait. Did we do the bad thing?
But what is the meaning of this unruly outburst?
I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. Oh no.
You'll be... What?
Oh boy. What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikitoba told me everything just now before the trial.
He did what?
He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikitoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in.
Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Yeah, look at that. That's a gaze of confidence on the side there. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, we're doing honorifics. Wow. No, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. Oh, in fact, mine's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present.
That's a lie. What are you talking about? We're gonna very clearly have crazy things going on in here.
Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency.
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am.
So let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Oh, yes.
That wasn't the question. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim.
I'm pressing buttons. Options? Where's my court record? History? I don't have a court record. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. Oh, I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke? Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case will be found in the court record. But But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of R. That's the classic button. You ever find you've forgotten something? Just consult that. It's all there. I just have to press R for the court record. Alright, there's no time to lose. Yo, university collar pin? Can we show that to people? Okay, so switch to people with R. You find the details about the victims there. When you're done, just press B to go back. Okay, so we got Kasuma Asogi, Yujin Mikitoba, Taketsuchi Auchi. Lead prosecutor who appears to have little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation have brought. John H. Wilson, victim in this case. Don't really get the pun there. That just seems like a generic name. Visiting professor of medicine from the British Empire. Oh, this is because war could break out. Oh no. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record, right? If we've killed an overseas visiting one. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press X to present. Try it now. John H. Wilson. Yes, that's a new one. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson.
Choo, choo, hoo, hoo, choo, hoo.
What is that noise?
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Is that a glass of water he has there? The big old thing of water? Pretty good.
Indeed, which is why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. As most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations.
There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. I haven't.
And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education, have you no honor?
But I didn't do it.
This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter.
In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Aibo. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think... wait. Oh, I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. Well, I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson.
Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death.
The cause of death? Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was gunshot because we saw that in the opening, but... Well, obviously that was, Ryunosuke, remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death, select present. Do it now! Post-mortem report. Death, I guess they can't do autopsy reports, because autopsies Would an autopsy exist at this time? Okay, I need 2 questions. All right. Great Ace Attorney year. What time does it take place in? People say like 1897. Okay.
When was autopsies invented?
Oh, never mind, like 1302. I'm super wrong. I guess it's not the modern one, but death occurred a little after 2 p.m. Cause of blood loss from gunshot wound. The bullet did not pass through the body. Okay. Guns are less powerful back at this time, so.
Yes!
Well. Oh my god, he's looking at multiple sheets. According to the document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. That's what it says.
Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it?
Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the... Oh, but they don't do that in Japan! Because in Japan, the corpse is seen as too, like, important to, like, it's like a spiritual thing. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later.
This is a so-called photographic print of the crime scene. A bromide. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion.
Yo, that steak was untouched, though. It looks real nice.
In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record.
The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail's incredible. I guess that's new for him, too.
Very well, I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial.
What are you... Oh.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better appraise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
Is it the crazy long-eared monk guy that we saw? This is it, then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly, you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Oh, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Sogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first, hey! Oh, boy, that thing's always fluttering, even in a room without wind, huh? Okay.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please.
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. All I got is Naga, like snake, that's it. I'm head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival, which is, I guess, French. Oh, buddy, you, got a little something on your face. You alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should.
As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident.
At once, sir.
And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring, he's a sweaty lad. It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. Now that fits with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand. Oh! Right, I forgot about the gun in our hand. Oh my god, literal smoking gun. Standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Yes! I was there! Oh, hold on. Let me clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him. Ooh, okay, yeah, that's a Winston Payne.
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur.
But
The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo.
don't worry, Inosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness.
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today?
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? Well, that's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello. Oh? There was a woman sitting opposite him at the table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? Well, we're gonna wait for our time. We're gonna wait for our cross-examination period. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ryunosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? What, I suppose I am? I'd never have gotten into Yume University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. But I don't want to go to jail. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. All right, well, you scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just gonna shut my eyes and say it. Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. I can read that.
Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume?
That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. There was nobody on there.
Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter.
Thank you, sir.
The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence.
Oh, well,
Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once.
of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Oh, buddy. Oh no, he's gonna keep doing it. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. Please stop. I don't want to hear that, please. Thank you.
So, the court has now heard a precis of the case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo,
Yes, Your Excellency.
if you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of this case to the court, but I must warn the defense if you're determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
What do you think I should do, Cosmo? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual about these peculiarities, which is a terrifying word that they keep using. And you've said it, Professor Mikitopa said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. Can you say something? As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you willing to just abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Rinosuke. Whoa! The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll just see how decisive this evidence really is. Ooh.
Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchie, please continue with the proceedings.
Well, you were warned the young can be so reckless. You know, many called me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, the dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses.
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once.
Witnesses? Oh. We're doing multiple? Huh. Interesting. That's kind of like what was in Great Ace Attorney. No, I mean, sorry, Ace Attorney versus Phoenix Wright. Sorry. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. I got there eventually. Didn't you have like a whole bunch of them and you could do it at once? I think so.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Nosa.
Yes, sir. The Great Imperial Army Sergeant Aisa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasutea, humble premises in the 2nd District, Curio Koru Korikuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea from most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with the interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business.
I can't understand the word that old man is saying. Wow, really? I got all of it.
He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at Le Carnival.
He seeks out potential customers who may have interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets Le Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black-uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir.
This man's as impossible to understand as the other. Buddy, get used to weird character traits. I'm almost sure I heard a strange... Yeah, I heard that. I'm like, what the frick was that? I thought it was a glitch. I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during the last thing he said. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
Now the court will hear your formal testimony, please. It will state everything you saw at the precise moment the incident occurred. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Standing...
There's a baby. He has a baby on his back. That's the thing that's around him. He is nursing a babu.
Standing by, ready to report, sir.
Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. When's the baby gonna appear? It's gonna flip around and the baby will be there. What the witnesses saw. That old man's got earlobe jiggling fever.
I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged.
That's a baby.
I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Someone stole his golden curio?
Well, the sergeant knows how she witnessed the vital moment. He saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. The wicked university cadet...
That's a baby.
A wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy.
Why does the old man have a knife? You can't have that in court. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. While you were busy in lawyer school, I studied the blade. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my own seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. Hey, here's a tip. Never pick up a gun. You immediately, if you're in a public place and see a gun, you go, "Whoa, everyone, be careful. There's a gun on the ground. I'm not picking it up, and I want everyone to see I am not picking it up, but there happens to be a gun in the vicinity." And please, then again, mind you, I've never lived in countries with open carry, so that's how I'd act. But if you're in America, I'm sure you would just hand it to the nearest child and say you probably dropped this, young lad. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, hey, good trigger discipline though. Bang. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now.
As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial.
Don't say yes. Why would you say that? Buddy, you're putting up your hand?
What are the name of the emperors reading of this outburst?
The defense demands its right to a cross-examination.
Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic.
How did he know?
The prosecution objects. It's a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How could he possibly carry out a...
You'd be surprised. It's very easy. Ooh, good objection, buddy. The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Cosmo's so commanding.
Very well. I, the defense, conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses.
Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Reno. This is where the gameplay starts. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. The key to doing that is evidence. Right. Evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. What do we have so far? Shot from the front. Probably something to do with that. Right? Kitchen entrance. Oh, there's a magnifying glass. Thank you for actually putting subtitles. Okay, that's okay. I was gonna say what is that, but that's his business card there. Interesting, magnifying glass, huh? Interesting. Okay.
Now let's go, Ryunosuke.
Don't let them beat you. He's like, okay, did I do that right? All right then, it's all or nothing. Cross-exam. Ooh, I like that. What the witnesses saw. Oh, we're back to 5 things. We don't get to do the we don't get the life bar.
I was adjusting a regulation with that.
Okay.
Yes.
What were you doing?
But aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique?
I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then. This beef steak you mentioned. What kind of food is that?
Attention! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot.
Oh.
If food receives Medal of Honor, beefsteak would almost certainly be highly decorated as a cutlet.
Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that?
Attention! Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs, deep fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, you can try it.
Yes, sir, I will, sir, on the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but, I will try to stick to questions that are relevant to the case. Oops, sorry, I'll do my best. So, next question. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a sort of wah crying noise?
Negative!
Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Oh, I know, that was at least we learned he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Prime Presser. Oh, that's an achievement! The Switch, I do like them putting in achievements in the Switch version, even if they're not, like, the same as, like, trophies.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of particularly fine golden...
Okay, what's this golden curio? We need to know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
A Koban, boy.
Koban. A Koban? You mean an old Edo coin?
The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day, with said items secreted in my bosom pocket, in the hope of an affluent, cognizant, appraised of its indisputable value being presented.
So, you were hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant?
Yes, yes. It's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious Koban. Isn't that so?
Well,
You little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespecting your superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination.
no, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might just be the word I was looking for.
In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. A gentleman beside me who was grappling with his braised veal at the time was my sole prospect.
I see. Is the baby gonna be holding the coin?
At that precise moment a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's act.
Okay. I'm gonna press him, but I feel like it's gonna be, how could he have seen from this angle if it's shot from the front? Right? Maybe? We'll see. Let's press him. So, you're saying that you actually saw me at that time?
Affirmative. I saw you, laughing and cackling like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian.
But that's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please.
What's that, Private?
Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table.
So what if it was?
Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun.
And double My sixth sense.
Oh, we're going with psychic, huh? Sorry?
My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy.
Oh, that's not an easy voice to do. I need to drink. Okay. So see, usually I'm pretty good with like grabbing a drink before I record a video, especially one that's all dialogue heavy. Your boy was stupid today, and I didn't have one, so I couldn't. But now I do. I have a couple drinks, so it should be fine.
My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet.
Surely that's not really possible, is it?
Do you think I'd gotten to where I am today in the Army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son?
Well, it would seem this soldier is absolutely convinced he saw you do the deed. This is not good.
The black uniform varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back.
Oh, shoot. Well, there we go. We have it right there. How could I have shot from the back if it didn't go through, buddy?
Yes.
What? Everyone's not knowing what to do. Uh-huh.
What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordinate?
Well, he keeps saying subordination. Isn't insubordination when it's a bad thing? Wouldn't subordination be good?
I've seen some photographic print in my mustache.
Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
What nonsense! What can this print possibly tell us we don't already know?
Well, obviously,
I know what I want to say, but the word just won't come out of my mouth.
I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom.
This is so frustrating.
Oh, please. There's a big motion for just an oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Ayisa Nosa. Oh, is it yes and no in the name? Okay.
Yes, sir. What, sir?
The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
But no! Yes, but no. That just can't be.
Why not, cadet?
Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? There he is! Oh, he's pushing back. There he goes. Goodbye, baby. What was that? Someone just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly, there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable.
Until the moment there he goes again.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yep, he's just out now.
Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious Carnival steak, sir.
What?
The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
That's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There's no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom.
Yeah!
Inconsistency seer. There's been a complete turnabout. Hey, there's the word in the mood of this trial. Just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about there. They said turnabout and ace attorney. Wow, it's the words.
But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up the floor.
And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I've already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor, where old men go.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure. Looking for toes in the midst of chaos.
Treasure? Toes?
Indeed, the Hoera Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop Rasute.
In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you?
On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoe treasure,
believed that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished. Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but heeded it not. But I heeded it not, for I was only concerned with finding my absconded Hoey treasure. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No,
I see.
that lamentable day, the precious Hoey Koban was lost to me.
Oh, is that why they call him Koban Cat? Because he has the coin?
No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin from...
It's gonna be the baby. The baby's gonna hold it. I'm calling it.
As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon.
Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive, no matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British. It would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now.
What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Choo-hoo-hoo. Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing the next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he?
Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir.
Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think.
Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido.
It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Dang! Nice wordplay.
Ido. Attention. Your father is about to quell the enemy.
Look at him.
Watch and learn, my boy.
Gross. The big old snot thing. Don't like that. Please wipe your child's nose. The true culprit.
Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
We're gonna need to press. We're gonna need to press for more, I think.
His testimonies are certainly compelling.
Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Is that photographic print of the crime scene, counsel?
Wait a sec. But the steak... What does that mean? Did someone take a bite of the steak? That's not... Is this the right table? Or is this a different one? Did someone take a picture of the wrong table? Wait. Huh.
Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there was only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of that print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else.
This doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the court.
Photographic print, bottle of carbonated water. Gross. Don't drink that. I'd rather drink nothing. Speaking of drinking, I need that to wet my voice whistle. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we'll be able to use a telegraph, we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness's testimony we just heard leaves no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Taketsuchi Ouchi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor.
When you see this expression in an Ace Attorney game, you know things aren't going too hot. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood?
Rules can be so unbending at times.
Hopefully there's no problems if I just press all the ones I need. Usually pressing doesn't give you any negatives, so it's almost the same thing. Okay, let's see what they say. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreman he was. That much I did see. I'm gonna press this one. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've already told you that's only because I picked it up off the floor.
Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away.
I just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, bang! A gunshot rang in my ears.
Full of events beyond our control, life is.
Sorry? What do you mean?
In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner.
Almost give him like a Yoda voice, you could.
Pistol I saw. Hand-holding. Yoda voice I practice sometimes.
We were the only personnel present. What do you mean a visual search? Who? Who did that? You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have even caught a glimpse of this woman.
Well, there'd been more people dining there at the time, then somebody else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course, the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect.
Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason.
There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, counsel?
It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
Hata Clinic. Yes, that would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m.
The very day of the incident.
So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before us. It really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered in the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should ask for. It's better to not. Yeah. Why would we never? Why would we ever not? Right? Like always do it. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence.
Very well, the court will grant the defense's request.
Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It is a most disturbing trend.
Boy, yeah.
Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report to the court record.
Can we actually read this, though? That's the question. What we need right now is new clues. Can we read this? We can't actually read it. Okay. Interesting. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuta-san. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
I mean, let's check. What else do you say? So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone.
That I did. Forgive me the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Oh, if I'm being honest, I have absolutely no idea. Wrong name.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth?
What? What did you say, cadet?
I clearly remember. It's like we're literally being gaslit. Like, this is the best example of gaslighting. Everyone's like, no, there wasn't a woman. What are you talking about? And he's like, what the frick? And I wonder if he's even going to start doubting this. There's a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. I mean, why are they looking away? If this was L.A. Noire, I could be like, you're lying.
Unfortunately for you, defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone.
Sorry?
The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone.
That's right.
Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady.
But
If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the The prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is such a blatant waste of the court's time.
There's nothing I can say to that. Will it give us the option? Let's see. Choo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. He's even poo-hoo-hooing. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changed much. I can't see that brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. I tried to do that. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. Use the ones you may examine. Press A and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the stick. Okay. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using the left stick... Okay. We got kind of double play. That'd be the touch screen probably on the left stick there. Or right stick, whatever. You move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that you might have missed before. Crosshair starts to pulsate. Press A to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned about by examining it more in detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I swear if it's gonna be like we met at the restaurant. Let's see here. Okay, gotta go next one. Okay, here we go. So, medical report card required for every visit. Dr. John Wilson, Haught Clinic. Paper there. Dentist, Haught Clinic. Can we open it? Okay. Let's have a look. Some kind of medical history. And there's an entry for the date the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth. Oh, you can't have beefsteak when you're doing that. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. I've never had that. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. I've never got to try it. Every time I'd go to a place where I'd need anesthesia, they'd be like, nope, you don't get it. I'm like, what? My sister got it. And they're like, you don't get it. You don't need it. The only time was when I had to go under for surgery, when they had to untwist one of the boys, let's say. Hey, if you're ever feeling bad pain down there, men, it might be a torsion. Get that fixed. Because otherwise it will be the worst thing. I needed them to put me under for that. But that was not anesthesia. That was like, was that anesthesia? No, it wasn't. Because laughing gas is when you're kind of still awake but you can't feel anything. That just killed me. Well, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Medical report card's information has been updated. Okay. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely! Alright. Let's see here. Same thing. Pointing his gun. No one else was there. They were all dining all by himself. Alright, so this is the one where he was dining all by himself. He couldn't have been dining. There was no one he can eat.
Yes!
The way he raises his hand is so funny. I think,
What are you wittering about, lad? Call yourself a lawyer?
I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke, everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I can see quite clearly in the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. All right, and thanks for the advice. Korakuda-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim.
I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy?
Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. He's so worried about it. He's like, I'm just gonna tap it, just lightly. I hope as he gets better at this game, he doesn't worry about the slams and lets it happen. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Dear me, have you forgotten my word so soon, you amateur?
Sorry, what?
You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel.
But
Let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant.
But that's,
remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at hand, for the simple reason that there was no one else besides his pale-faced pupil who could possibly have perpetrated the crime.
I didn't even press the button. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that?
What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because Hada Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted.
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating.
This is what you're trying to say, Cadet. He had orders not to eat, so what?
It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Korakuda-san,
What, boy? What?
as you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally,
There's more.
you have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. He did it! He wasn't worried! But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Ooh, it's starting to pop off a bit. Right? We're getting there. Expertly done, partner. Oh, old man shaking.
What is this nonsense, you little upstart?
Oh boy.
These are baseless accusations. Just look at the photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic?
How dare you?
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant's case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Good pun, sir. Oh, God. Huh? Yes, most definitely.
So I've just undergone some dental surgery. The victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel?
Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been an as yet unknown third party. I'm not gonna be dumb and pick a wrong answer. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
You will not let this go, will you? There's no such person.
There was, because I saw her! When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating on anything, and we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Cosma.
Are you insane? You would take on the government.
Boy, we're going quite far with the first one. Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with you.
What do you mean?
I have issue with them. Those two witnesses in the stand.
What?
What are you talking about?
We have demonstrated with evidence the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Could you imagine being charged with perjury for lying in court? Insane. What a notion. What a notion that never happens.
Perjury.
And this is a murder trial. You will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Wow, we're really going in. It's like it's never happened.
Complicit in murder?
Like, never. They never ever actually do this.
No!
Oh, who's yelling, hold it?
Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting.
So whose meeting?
I was just following orders.
That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they just told us. I'm never getting my coin back now. Oh!
What? What did you just say, Korakuda-san?
No.
You were just following orders?
Now hold on, lad. I was,
Say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
Oh boy.
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements. Is this true, you pair?
Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order, counsel, explain what is going on here.
It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this.
Oh, he's back to being the little worried. And who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut?
Well,
That's classified.
So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to the murder, are you?
You wouldn't. This can't be happening.
Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchi had any... Yeah, no, he absolutely looks like he's like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't believe Ouchi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. We need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. My only thought is it says he doesn't like the cultural reform. Well, cultural reform. He might have some secret. Army Sergeant, the Empire of Japan. I'm going to say if he's with the army, it might be that, right? My only thought. He's 51. Jeez. I'm just looking for any sort of evidence, you know? I don't really see it. Okay. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yes, that's right. Wait. Hold the phone. Chief Investigator Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. This is why he freaked out about it. Oh, it's this way. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. So he's a snake. Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here... Oh boy. Police Inspector. Well, there we go. Don't worry, I got it, buddy. We got it. There's no time to lose.
I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please, wait, Your Excellency. I have no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. Including the weird horny ones. You know the ones. I knew nothing.
And what does the feds have to say about all this,
Well, Your Excellency, no time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. I mean, we know. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... That's Satoru Hosonaga.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san.
Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier?
Kind of mixing the voices of the army sergeant and the judge. We'll get that fixed, don't worry.
Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence.
For once, I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter.
What? If he truly were...
Come on, Ryunosuke, time to hit this chord with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosanaga's real identity as proven by this evidence. Bam!
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything.
Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest.
I beg your pardon.
The word you're looking for, buddy, is front. Or perhaps I should have said the front. Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is.
So you read the side I'm looking at? Like, no. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say?
Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of the business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession.
Waiter's profession, but that's surely... Good gracious!
That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, the witness is there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene?
Well,
Who's yelling, hold it? Who is this? Oh, it's him! He's joined! Inspector Hosonaga! I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Yes, we've seen this.
Chronicle takes his plan out to the court record as evidence.
And he's like, please don't. No, please, yeah. And we're like, no, we're going to do it. Buddy, what are you doing? Of course, here you are, yeah. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. Well, you kind of messed that one up big time, bucko. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So, you mean to say you really are a detective?
But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Of course! Your salary must be... I was working undercover. I was gonna make that joke, but thank you for doing that for me, game. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? So you say it's classified? Yep. That would be classified police information, which I'm not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide.
Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga. But you will elaborate on one point for the court.
Of course, Your Excellency.
We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct?
Is that part of your act? Are you doing this on purpose too? Or are you actually just a sick lad? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable! As I suspected. Bang? Yeah? As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once? It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if the Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interests not to pursue that idea. It would be for us, because we don't want to go to jail. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman had been murdered on our soil. To name an English woman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. That's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. We're all in silence, not really knowing what to do next, huh? One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Cosma? UMA University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young English woman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first.
And the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector.
The English woman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. Is the joke that the name is basically like jail? Sounds like jailbreak almost. She's indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of UMA University's medical faculty.
What is happening here?
Drama, my friend. I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make stop shoving your baby around, brother. And ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Can we bring her to court?
Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Why are you... No, buddy, you're even taken back by this. Come on.
But Your Excellency, that would mean missing the new deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga?
Yes, sir?
You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with utmost urgency.
At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? I mean, Buddy's gonna die anyways. Nothing will get in my way. I mean, aside from your sickness.
Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Your Excellency.
Good. Then we'll have a 30-minute recess before reconvening.
Dang, I haven't had a 30-minute recess since elementary school. Am I right, gamers? Am I right? Anyways, to be continued. Yeah, I love these natural points. Alright, guys. Thank you all for watching. Honestly, I might just turn this into 2 episodes. Might be easier to do it that way. I'll see. I don't know. Might be 1, might be 2. You'll see when you click on it. Sounds good, guys. I'll see you next time for some more Let's Play The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Ciao, guys.